Hello everybody and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Today's video we are going to be treating a cow who's got a white line lesion high up near the heel bulb. We're also going to trim this other front foot up before we get started on that, so stick with us. When it comes to trimming pasture cows, there's not a lot of horn to remove, so it's really just a little bit of rebalancing and touching up. All right, now that we got that trimmed up, let's get started on this problem foot. So what we're looking at here is we've got an abscess that has worked its way out and found the path of least resistance and tracked its way out the top. That's how these abscesses work to relieve pressure. They look for a way out, and it happened to be, in this case, through the heel bulb location. Because that heel bulb was a little squishy there when I was pushing on it, I knew that this had tracked out the top already. So what I'm looking for now is I'm just trying to find that small little perforation so I can remove this loose horn that's attached to the heel bulb here. Now that I can see the extent of the separation, it's just a matter of removing all the loose horn that leads from the abscess site up to this spot that I'm working on now. I get asked a lot why I don't trim up in that heel bulb area. And the reason is, from what you can see here now, is that area up there is actually much more like skin and less like hoof. It's not part of the structural part of the foot. It's more of a cushion area full of blood vessels and stuff that feed the foot. So that area is not an area that we trim unless there's a problem, which is what we have in this case. We're going to have an abscess actually that's occurred in the sole, but because this area is thin here, it's a perfect place for these abscesses to track out and relieve the pressure. Whenever I'm working on a lesion, the goal is to remove all the loose horn. In this case, I was working on in and near the heel bulb, and even though that area is more like skin and less like hoof, it still needs to be removed because it is loose. That little black mark right below the area that I've already removed is the actual origination site of this white line. And we talked about this earlier in another video, why these abscesses show up in these spots. This particular location is one of the weakest points on the foot, and it is the weakest spot as far as the white line goes. And the reason for that is because we've got three different types of horn material, a junction rather of three different types of horn material. We've got the outside wall, the hardest part of the foot. We've got the junction with the sole, and we've also got the junction with the heel bulb, all meeting in that one spot. It's also one of the thinnest layers of, or least supported layers as far as the internal structures of the foot. So it's going to be the spot that shows these white line lesions first. It's going to be the one that's going to indicate lameness on the herd level first. Oftentimes when we see some imminent lameness coming on, it's going to show up in these locations, and it's because it is the weakest spot of the foot. Now that I've gotten all that loose horn removed, I'm going to apply a block to that lateral claw, that outside claw. And what that's going to do is it's going to elevate that inside claw off the ground. Keep it off the ground so it can has time to heal, so we can replace that heel bulb, and we can get some new sole in there that will firm up and replace that area that we had to remove. I'm going to give this one last spritz up to make sure that I've got it really well disinfected and to make sure that I've got any debris that may be left in there out of there. And then I'm going to apply a wrap to this. Now the wrap isn't really to promote the healing process. It's really just to keep debris and things out of there for those first few hours to allow the cow to put on that first little bit of protective layer of her own to keep that foot clean. After that, the wrap really doesn't do much good. In fact, it can be detrimental. So within a couple hours, usually that first milking, I tell them, or the next, make sure by the next morning that this wrap needs to come off. And from there, she does all the healing herself. And she's off, much more comfortable, and on the road to recovery. I get asked a lot if this is a scary process for cows or if they're afraid of my machine. Well, I'm going to let you guys make that decision. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done it yet, click that picture of the hoof right now to subscribe to this channel. Thanks, guys.